going to do it again, but this time this is the question that we're looking at. The question that we're looking at has two circles, a diameter 50 and there's a diameter 24, but the distance between the two is 60, and we have a curve here at 65, then we have a curve here at radius 80. So those are the two curves. Now the point is that when you draw these curves, you do not know the exact measurements of them. So you have to calculate them. And that is all that we're doing, calculating what those measurements are. So for this, I'm going to redraw the two circles. I'm not going to do it fully because you still have to figure it out, but I'm going to do a very similar question. So I'm going to draw over here 60. I have here a circle that is diameter 50 over here is radius 25, and diameter 24 here is radius 12. Everybody's clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so let's deal with the outer one first. You see that this one here is radius 80. So if this is radius 80, the curve for this the curves have to touch the outside of the circle. So when we draw our arc has to meet up here. So since we are drawing our arc above, this line that is here must measure to 80. Hence, we have to subtract this piece from the 80. So this is the radius. What is this measurement as the radius? What's that measurement as the radius?
That's radius 100.
No, the diameter here is 50. So the
Oh, so
radius has
that's
to be
radius 25.
good. So subtract 25 from 80. What measurement will we get? Quickly, guys.
Is it 26? I mean 65?
65. So there is a calculator in AutoCAD, but there's also one on your computer. So I'm just going to open. Someone said 65. 65. 65 plus 25 gives us 90. So if I had to calculate, 80 subtract 25 should give us 55. Alright, so we have 55. So I'm going to come here, bring the circle, and I'm scribing 55. Everybody understands that?
Yes, sir.
And what I'm going to do here now to the next side, subtracting 12, because that 12 is half of the 24 from 80. So 12 from 80 gives us what?
Pardon, sir. You could repeat it, sir?
What is 80 subtract 12? Gives us 68. Okay? So when I come, I draw my arc at 68. I then do my small circle. I scribe. So I'm deleting these. And now that I have my circle with the two dimensions that I use, I am going to draw my circle at radius 80. Now you need to make sure that you pull it from the center. 80, and it is touching both edges. So now I'm going to trim. So here we have just drawn our circle here at radius 80, and we calculated it to find the measurements up there. Now I'm going to do the next one in here. So if I'm doing a curve that is touching on the inside of these two circles, you will realize that the center of that curve is up above. But you will also realize that if this curve is, let's say, radius 60, it has to be 60 plus the radius here. Y'all are clear on that? Are you clear on what I just said? Or no?
Yes, sir.
So let me go over it again. For this question, the radius is 65. So if this circle is 65, the 65 will measure from the center to here. But then, for us to find the center, we have to add the radius of this circle to it. So I'm just going to delete this. So that's 65 plus 25. 65. If you are at home, you're doing it. 65 plus 25 gives us 90. So we come from here and we draw our curve at 90. And half of 24 gives us 12. So what is 65 plus 12? What is 65 plus 12?
70.
70. 65 plus 12, 77. Okay, so we have our 77. And now we see where those two arcs meet. So once again, we draw a smaller circle and we trim the edges. Delete. So now from here, we're going to come and draw our circle. Now you need to make sure that it touches the center. 65. And it touches both edges. So then you'll be able to trim it, and that is how we blend curves. What you will need to do is you need to show the dimensions on these, on all of these arcs here, but that is simply how it is done. I'm going to do one more example over here. Example is going to be a bit similar. The measurement here is 80. I'm going to do a circle here, diameter 30, and I'll do another circle here, diameter 40. So when I come now to dimension, all you are doing, you're adding or subtracting. So the first thing is you just know the measurements of your circles, and I want to put a curve up here 120. So you'll realize that if we're putting a curve above here, the measurement for this, do we have to subtract or do we have to add for this one? Do we have to subtract or add for this one? If you don't know, so you don't know.
Sir, could you repeat it?
Oh, I was asking if we want to do a curve up here. Let's say we wanted to do a curve up here at, I don't remember the measurement I said, but let's say we want to do a curve at 120. So the curve is at 120, right? And that curve is above here. So my question is, when we come down here, let's say the center is down here, and we draw it at 120. For this curve, will I have to add the radius of the 30 to it, or will I have to subtract the radius of 30 from it? Is this one to add or subtract for this circle or this curve? Anybody can tell me?
Is it subtract?
That's
No,
the thing. It would be subtract, because if you realize the circle is on the inside of the curve, so we have to subtract to find the center. So since the circle is on the inside of the curve, we have to subtract. So 120, half of the radius 30 though is 15. So 120 subtract 15 will give us 105. So we come here, we do 105. Over here, this is 20. The radius of the 40 that's here is 20. So we're going to come and scribe our art at 100. Where the two of them meet, we do a small circle. And we delete there. So I'm going to dimension it this time so that you can see it. And now, this is the key moment here. I am going to draw my 120. So 120, and it touches the circles, the edges. You understand that? You understand how I did it?
Yes, sir.
So that's my 120. So now we're going to do an inner circle. So let's say the inner circle, I want the inner circle to be 95. So this inner circle here is 95. Do I have to add the 95 to the radius of 40, or do I have to subtract the 95 from the radius of 40? Which one is it? Add or subtract?
Subtract.
No, we had to subtract for the first one. But if you look here, if this circle is radius 90, don't I have to open it bigger to get to this center here? You realize that I have to open it, I have to add to it to find the center. So because I have to add to it to find the center, it means then that we have to add. So we'll come here, remember the curve that we want to make. We're going to make a new curve down here of 90. So this new curve is 90. We come with the radius, we click here. So we're adding 90 to the small radius here, which is 15. So that will give us 105. And that's our art, 105. And then we are going to, you think that what I just said is correct? Where we're adding the 105, we're adding 90 plus 15. Remember the difference. The curve is going to come at the bottom here. So you have to add 15 to it. For the one over here, we have to add 20 to it. So I'm going to come again over here, and I'm going 90 plus 20. So that will give me 110. 90 plus 20 is 110. So the curve that we're looking at is here. So I made my small curve, and then we trim. So now that we trim it, turn on the layer. I'm just putting it as yellow, but it's not supposed to be yellow. So we have the 105 already, because that was a previous measurement. And we now have the 110 measurement. So when I come here, I will draw my curve here at 90, and it touches both edges flush. So you trim, and that is your curve. Any questions?
No, sir.
No, it can be a little tricky to understand, but this is what we are doing. And what I will tell you is, I want you to practice both of them. Well, not practice, but you're drawing both of these figures. So this is what I want you to do today. I'm going to save the sheet and post it for you. But all we're doing here is we're drawing both of these figures in AutoCAD. Now when you draw it, you need to make sure that you dimension it properly. In the questions here that I have, I only have one dimension properly. But this one here, these arcs need to be dimensioned, and then this arc and the arc above needs to be dimensioned. So you just need to make sure that both are dimensioned properly. So now when we come here, just gonna take a look at the file, and this is our file, and I'm gonna post this in the chat for you. Any questions, any comments? Any questions, any comments? Anybody is lost? Alright, so with that being said then, as I said, this is what we're doing. So I'm gonna get ready to post the video, but you're drawing both.